Nicole Winsor. Nicole is a fourth-year PhD student, also in the Department of English in the College of Arts and Letters. Her faculty advisor is Professor Susan Cannon-Harris. Nicole will be presenting today on Make It New, the post-colonial modernist drama of Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand.
Pablo Picasso, T.S. Eliot, Charlie Chaplin. When we think of the great artistic works grouped under the umbrella of modernism, these are the names that come to mind. What all of these icons have in common is the drive to make it new, as the poet Ezra Pound famously said. Modernism is conventionally defined as an artistic movement which sought to capture and represent the chaos and confusion of modern life in radically new artistic forms. In the early days of criticism, it was primarily the work of men, like Eliot and Pound, which became representative of this movement. But after the cultural revolutions of the 70s, scholars like Bonnie Kimes-Scott came along and said, hold on, why is it that most of these great modernist writers are men? From such a seemingly simple observation, modernist studies was made new again, and all of a sudden the field became a lot more inclusive. But then, in the early 2000s, our definitions were challenged once more. Susan Stanford Friedman pointed out that the 1890 to 1940 dates that scholars place around modernism privileged European and American writers and inevitably excluded many others from around the globe. My dissertation is inspired by Friedman's radical call to stop thinking of modernism as a specific set of aesthetic practices confined to a particular time period and region of the globe. I begin with a definition of modernism as the creative domain within any modernity. This means that the Irish, Australian, and New Zealand modernisms that I examine span the entire 20th century. By using this definition, I challenge the notion that modernist innovations could only arrive in these colonies in English suitcases, or through people traveling into the imperial centre and sending what they learned back home. As a result of my research, I have found that European and American innovations become ingrained within a wider fabric of change. They become just one thread amongst many social, cultural, political, economic, and technological threads produced by settler and colonized peoples alike. It is out of this wider fabric of local and global influences that a post-colonial modernist drama that is neither belated nor derivative is created. Now, you might be wondering why I think it is so important to ask a bunch of scholars to change how they define modernism. Why does this matter? And my response is, well, Donald Trump. No, really, I'm not being entirely facetious here. Imagine a world where students study Pound's poetry alongside a translation of an Irish language novelist, a Caribbean painter, an Iranian filmmaker, an Australian Aboriginal or New Zealand Māori dramatist. Changing how we define literary canons can have ripple effects throughout society. The most important of these is the potential for opening up our students' minds to cultures and creative works that come from beyond the walls of our European or American-centric worlds. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.